Hey everybody, this is Ryan Baus with the Abolitionist Society of Chicago. I wanted to talk about something that I saw at the clinic today. This morning we were out and some of the pro-lifers were pointing out that today was like the out-of-state day. We're here in Chicago and we had a parking lot full of Indiana and Wisconsin license plates. Now this is not something that's abnormal, we're used to it. We've seen pretty much every surrounding state come into Chicago. And to some degree this is because we have a lot of colleges in the area and things, so you get a lot of people from out of state. But today was actually a little bit abnormal. It was almost exclusively people from Indiana and Wisconsin. There's a reason that something like that happens. And the reason is because the pro-life movement exists. You see, people have been celebrating because various abortion clinics are being closed in the state of Texas, and I forget the other state, but there's another state that's having a whole lot of abortion clinics get closed. And they're being closed because the industry is basically being regulated to death in those states. They have their fetal pain laws, they have their safety laws and their sanitation regulations, and they're using these seemingly intelligent legal battles to shut down the clinics in their area. And I say seemingly intelligent because I can see the logic behind, regulating an industry to death. It kind of makes a little sense, and it used to be something that I did support. But then you come to Chicago, where we have some of the lowest regulations in the country, where we have clinics who haven't had their health inspections in 15 plus years, where we have doctors and nurses who have lists of lawsuits against them. And so you have to look at this and say, well, wait a minute. Indiana has more restrictions than Illinois does. It's harder for a woman, especially as we saw today, a lot of young, most definitely underage girls going into the clinic, and it's a lot harder for them to get an abortion in Indiana than it is for them to make a 1-hour drive, come up to Chicago, kill their baby, drive home, and pretend like nothing ever happened. You see the same thing in Wisconsin. And so we look at a state like Texas, and it's really easy and it's really comfortable to jump on the bandwagon and say, yay, 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 they've shut down X amount of clinics, and 80% of the clinics are gone. And we're not even going to get into the fact that this is actually beneficial to the pro-abortion industry, the mega clinics that they're building and things like that, because we can look at the reality and say, abolishing abortion, actually seeing abortion come to an end, has nothing to do with laws and it has nothing to do with regulations. It has to do with making abortion unthinkable. And in the state of Texas, there's one thing that the pro-life movement has failed at despite all of their big legal successes. They have failed to make abortion unthinkable. They have failed to change the worldview that allows abortion to happen in the first place. As such, the women who don't want to be pregnant anymore, who desire to kill their own child, have 3 states in the area that they can drive to. Now it's a little bit harder than, say, Indiana to Illinois, because it's a little bit longer of a trip. But the pro-choice movement uses these examples of women who drink poison and who supposedly stick metal rods inside of themselves, and they go to all these extremes in order to kill their child. Why wouldn't they drive a couple of hours, pay for the gas, maybe a couple of tolls, so that they can kill their child? In my experience here in Chicago, it doesn't slow them down or stop them in the slightest. Indiana and Wisconsin have both done some things to regulate abortion. The pro-life movement has had some victories in both of those states. But here in Chicago, we still get their girls, we still get their pregnancies, and our abortionists are getting more and more money because the girls in Indiana and Wisconsin have not learned to respect and to love the life inside of them. They have not learned to follow biblical morals and biblical values, but they have instead learned how to beat the system, how to cheat, how to cut corners, and how to get around regulations. Because if we look back all the way to Genesis 1, we will see a very simple reoccurring theme. When a wicked man or a wicked woman is told that they cannot do something, but their desire is to do so, they're going to do it. They're going to drive to another state, or in Ireland, where it's illegal to have abortion, they will take a boat across the sea to kill their own child. Because the wickedness, the sin that is behind the abortion industry, the sin that truly is responsible for 55 million children being murdered, has not been addressed in the last 40 years. It has not been taken care of, and it has not been exposed. It has instead been covered up. It has been hidden from, and it has been regulated and legislated. The pro-life movement is afraid to use morality. They're afraid to use the word sin. And the problem is that when you refuse to tell a woman that what she's doing is sin, and you instead tell her that she has to do it in a safer, cleaner, more regulated environment, she's going to drive up to Chicago and she's going to pay the abortionist at the clinic I stand outside of to kill her child. So please, share this video with all the pro-lifers you know. Please, use this fact, use this reality to expose the fallacies that the pro-life movement has fought for, to bring people who truly do desire to see abortion ended in this nation out of a godless, failing movement, and to show the truth that legislation doesn't abolish abortion, that regulation doesn't abolish abortion, health inspections do not abolish abortion, age restrictions, medical licenses, none of these will ever see the abolition of abortion. The only thing that will do that is to use the power of the gospel to change the worldview, to affect the culture, and to make abortion unthinkable.